Hi, GCC family. It's good to be back with you again and to be able to share some updates with you. I promised that I would update by the end of this week, and I do have 3 updates, and they are up to the minute updates for you. So the first is this: GCC is alive and well. I want to assure you of that. We have always been open in the sense that we have ministry that's happening online, and that ministry is making a difference in the hearts and the lives of people. It's incredible, really. Over 30 people have rededicated their lives to Christ or made first-time decisions for Jesus Christ. And in addition to that, we're seeing significant growth in the lives of our people. I've sent out over 50 new believer Bible studies to people, helping new believers, rededicated believers, and also members of Grace Community Church continue to grow deeply in their relationship with Jesus Christ. I also want to thank you for your generosity in praying, in volunteering to serve others, and also your generosity in tithes and offerings. We not only met our April budget, but we exceeded our April budget. Thanks be to God for his generosity through each and every one of you. And then thirdly, just under this first update, I want to just encourage you to continue to be faithful in your worship with us every weekend. GCC Anywhere is a wonderful opportunity for us to gather together and to worship the Lord on Saturday night at 6 or Sunday morning 8, 9, 15, or 11. Live chat with our pastors for each of those services. But most importantly, the opportunity to sing together, to pray together, and to study the Word of God together. So I just encourage you to continue to be faithful. And if you're not able to attend any one of those service hours, you can always go to our YouTube channel and you can pick up the services any day, anytime, and continue to grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. So the first update is GCC is alive and well. The second update is this, and I'm going to read some of this so that I get the language correct and we're all on the same page. GCC is actively planning its return to on-site and in-person ministry, beginning with an emphasis on smaller gatherings of 25 or less people in environments that meet the guidelines necessary to protect the health and the well-being of every person. Now, we understand that not everyone is ready or able to regather, but we also know that many others are ready. And so we will actively facilitate these smaller gatherings from among our existing small groups, men's ministry, women's ministry, adult education classes, youth, young adults, worship teams, and more, including small groups that will meet in homes for weekend worship. We will also form new groups, and we want to invite you today to join one of those groups. Contact Pastor Paul Weitzel at paul@gccws.net to join a group or to share your ideas for smaller gatherings. And please watch for more information in the next week. We will be sending that information out by church-wide email, but also in posts on Facebook and social media, Instagram. Now, about weekend worship, it will continue online this weekend and for the present time. We are daily working and planning toward the day of large group gatherings. Please remember that both the size of our church family and church facility makes that kind of planning more complex. So your prayers and your support for us is greatly, greatly appreciated. You know that 445 reopening surveys were returned, and the data that we're collecting from those surveys is invaluable to us as we continue to work toward the full reopening of our church life, and that is the on-site, in-person gatherings at 212 Peach Bottom Road here in Willow Street. And until then, continue to support GCC Anywhere and invite others to join you in that worship experience. Now, there is one last update, and that is what matters most. What matters most is not what we do, but how we do it. Did you hear that? What matters most is not what we do, but how we do it. And I believe that's what matters to God. There are many different opinions about how and when to reopen churches, different approaches, different positions, different ideas. Friends, we have to be careful that we do not allow our differences to divide us, nor do we want our witness to Christ to be damaged by senseless arguments over personal preferences and desires. As we work through the process of regathering, I want to ask you to be humble, be patient, and keep the unity of Grace Community. There is one set of guidelines as we work toward reopening that I'm going to ask every person that is in any way associated with Grace Community to not only keep, but absolutely observe in your daily life. And that set of guidelines is found in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Listen carefully to what the Word of God says. I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling that you have received. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. For there is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. And this is the Word of God. We're going to be referring back to those truths many times over the weeks to come as we continue to work toward the reopening, the regathering, the return of Grace Community Church to on-site and in-person gatherings. It is a real joy to be your pastor. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for the many expressions of your love. Know that I care deeply about you. I'm praying for you, and I love you as well. Lord bless you.